Hello, good evening. I want to tell you a story that a friend told me a couple of years ago. He was working in public security in the systems area at the time, and he says that they had a rather strange report from a police officer. This officer was in his work shift patrolling one of the main roads of the city. It would be between 12 in the morning when he reported having found a woman, apparently disoriented or drugged, so he decided to go see what was wrong with her. The policeman asked the woman, said she was fine. With a lost look she told him that she was expecting her son. The officer kept asking what she did and if she was really fine, but the woman just nodded her head. Finally the policeman he sent a report informing that he would take her home to make sure that she arrived safely, and to confirm that she was not in danger or in strange things. After insisting, she agreed to get on the patrol car, and told him which streets he should go to. Arriving at her house, the policeman turned down a street, and when passing in front of a hospital the turrets turned on by themselves. The policeman decided to go to the police station. At work he tried to fix the problem while the woman was still inside the patrol car with a lost look. They asked the policeman if everything was okay, and he replied that yes. It was just strange that this had happened to him, but that the problem was fixed. He continued driving where the woman indicated. There are two streets on that street, Pantheons. Before reaching the second she told the policeman to leave her, and he, puzzled, asked her, why right in that place, and she replied that her son would pick her up. The policeman decided to let her get out of the patrol car and see what she would do. She just walked down until she reached the bars of the Pantheon. The policeman sent a report stating that he has left her in the place, but that he will go around one more time to see what is happening. He does so, and he goes around the roundabout to return along the same avenue. On his way back, as he approaches the Pantheon, he sees a man running. He motions for him to stop. The policeman stops and asks him, "What's going on, sir?" The night watchman from the Pantheon answers, quite upset, and that what he has just left there is not a woman. The man went into a nervous breakdown, describing that when that woman came down as she was walking, her appearance changed. Her face had a different look from the bright eyes and a terrifying appearance, and the night watchman was screaming. The bad condition he was in was notorious. The policeman began to get nervous and went down to the entrance of the Pantheon accompanied by the upset night watchman. He hurried to ask for support. The doors of the Pantheon, they were forced open as if they had been hit with a post to get in. One was completely bent and the other only held the padlock and the chains that the night watchman put up at night. The guard told the policeman that while the woman was coming down he transformed into a demon, and when he opened his arms the doors opened with such force that they were left that way. My friend says that in a matter of minutes the entrance to the Pantheon was full of patrols. The policeman and the night watchman in a deep nervous breakdown. They found absolutely nothing, and decided not to tell anything. Of course there was no explanation for what had happened that night. They tell me that everything is recorded, and that when my friend heard what had happened, the hairs on his arm stood up, despite that he is skeptical of these issues. And that is the story that happened to my friend. Now I will tell you the second story that happened in an archaeological zone near my town. Magical territories full of legends and mysticism. What happened to us was a few days ago. Indigenous meetings have been held for years, always with different central themes. One of the organizers tells us something in particular happened in that meeting. The main theme was spirituality. There were shamans and sorcerers from different parts of the country. It is already known for being the home of thousands of sorcerers. Its mysticism was, so to speak, an ideal combination. All the guests and those attending the meeting sleep in an area of the park, which is filled with small tents. To go to the restroom you have to leave this area towards the entrance of the park and cross to a different area about 300 meters away. It was early in the morning the first day, and this organizer woke up her roommate to accompany her to the bathroom. They left the small tent house and they talked animatedly. Everything was dark, at that time silence. All hundreds of people around them were sleeping inside their canvas tents. Leaving the area of tents, a voice interrupted them. "Where are they going, girls?" It was the voice of a little girl around 8 years old. She only answered, "To the bathroom," without reflecting on what a girl of that age was up to 3 in the morning walking in the dark. She felt that her friend stopped next to her. He saw her again and she was frozen, standing with a pale face and trembling. "Don't turn to see her," she told me. "She's not a girl." He replied that she won't imagine things and turned to the place where the voice came from. No longer there was no one. Scared, they continued on their way. "It was not a girl, it was not a girl," the friend repeated. While she was walking they suddenly looked up. In an impossible way the girl was about 200 meters from them, standing in the dark. They saw clearly as if it were a person, a girl with indigenous clothing but with ancient clothing, as if it were one of the inhabitants of that area hundreds of years ago. Her long black hair and terribly fluffy. They stood, frozen watching, though the girl advanced towards them. She advanced suddenly and quickly, without moving her legs, floating. She approached a few meters from them and then turned around, deviated towards the exit of the park, while her head, only her head, moved away from them. He turned completely in a 180-degree angle, humanly impossible to continue looking at them. Both women were about to faint from fright. They ran to the guardhouse. At the reception they waited under that light for hours until dawn, scared to death, of terror. Just remembering it, the voice had ceased to be that of a girl. What they remembered now was a horrible and deep, almost demonic voice. The next day a shaman, one of many who had attended the meeting that year, approached after they had had the opportunity to tell someone about what they experienced the night before. The man, after greeting them, said, "You saw something. Something is following you. It's something bad, and take care because it can come back." Since that day he took refuge in his house. As soon as it starts to get dark, he doesn't come out again until the next morning. As soon as we found out about this story, we stopped going through that park at dawn, and we did so. Something is there, something is following us, something is stalking us. Thanks for reading my 2 stories.